inside. Well, maybe I'll try it again. I think we're on now. So I want to say good evening to everybody, and I want to thank you for joining tonight. I think it's going to be good, but then I say that every week, don't I? But every week it is good, but it's going to be super good tonight. I am excited that we have an exciting conversation that we're going to be talking about tonight, but I want to give you a few minutes to go ahead and log on, and I will wait, give maybe a couple of minutes while you log on and we get set. Just hang in there, hang tight. If you would share that we're on, and we'll begin in just a few seconds. I see. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Hope you had a great day. Just give it a couple of more seconds and we'll get started. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Tell your mom I say hi, since we're just waiting for other people to come on, and we'll get started. If you would share it so people will know that we're on, I would appreciate it. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. We don't want to keep people waiting. If they'll come on, and if they miss any part of it, they can join the replay. And because it will I'll keep it up on Facebook, and I'll also share it in a couple of places so that people can go back and replay it at their leisure. But I want to say again, good evening to everyone. Welcome. We're excited that you're here with us this evening. We're not going to be long tonight, but we're going to get the job done in the time that we're here together. I am excited and excited about introducing our conversationalist for tonight. Her name is Tavis Taylor, and just a beautiful human. I am so excited to have her on. She's written several books, and her story is just amazing. Just all that she's been through and what she's doing now for the kingdom. And I'm gonna, but before we get started into that, I want her to go ahead and introduce herself and to make sure she mentioned the books that she's written, and then we'll go from there. Hey, Tavis.
Hello, Sonia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. So my name is Tavis Taylor. I'm the transparent mom, meaning I parent openly and honestly, and I help mompreneurs and mom reinvent, restructure, and totally revamp their lives. Because at some point in your life, if you're parenting and you have a business or you're a mom, you have to restructure everything. And we know that by the pandemic. I am the author of the book, Parenting Ain't for Punks. I wrote that one first, and it's because, during this epidemic, we're finding out that it's just not. I have two journals coming out, a guided journal, prayer journal for moms, and a guided prayer journal for moms of boys and moms of girls. And my baby is the scenic route to purpose. And that's where I unravel my life and all that I have been through, because God has taken me, or I chose to take the scenic route into my purpose. And that's where we are today.
Wow. Well, let me just say that I am so honored to have you on. You are a woman of full of knowledge, and not to mention you are a minister, and you are very active in the body of Christ. So I'm excited. Not only can you give perspectives from the natural, but you can also give perspectives as it relates to the spiritual. I want to go ahead and jump in. And it is true,
Yeah.
I have no children, but I have a bunch of nieces and nephews and a bunch of people that call me auntie by the spirit. So I have a little bit to share, but to me, you are the expert in this field. So when we talk, I rely on you because you have the knowledge, and I'm here to learn, just like all of these other people that are on. Hey, LaTanya. Hey, Awa, I think that's how you pronounce your last name. We're glad that you're here. Hello, Miss Butler, our PR person. She wants me to also mention that you are an anger management certified coach and that you are a Christian counselor. So I'll add that to your plate as well. So, so Tavis, when we talk about parenting during this pandemic, can you talk a little bit, how do we navigate being a parent, being a teacher, being an employee, being an employer? How do you navigate all of that?
Well, Sonia, I have two little brown boys, 21 and 11. And so I know firsthand about the navigation. My 21-year-old is in college, downtown Atlanta, still in his apartment because, you know, we pay for it so you can stay there. And then my 11-year-old is in school here, and his school does a great job. And so parenting during this pandemic has been definitely interesting because I, like most parents, we are used to a routine. We are used to doing 5 million things. And, you know, every season there's something. There's soccer, there's basketball. And what happened is we woke up one day and life changed. And so we've had to redirect our thoughts. And the one thing that I tell parents is you are going to have to shift your mindset.
Yeah.
If you don't shift your mindset, you're going to be lost and your children are going to be lost. And so if you think about it, Sonia, the first wave was, oh my gosh, we've got to stay home. The second wave was, oh my gosh, we're panicking. We're still at home. This third wave is, it's not that bad because it hasn't hit Georgia. Now you got to think the first wave, some teachers were trying to figure out, we've got to do this and make sure it works. And so parents, teachers, children, everybody was in chaos. And what I wrote a checklist for parents, 5 ways to shift your parenting mindset during pandemic, because if you don't, you will lose your mind and lose your cool. Number one, you've got to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
In this, just like your children. And so if you don't go light on yourself and beat yourself up about everything, you're gonna operate from a place of guilt. Then you have to be honest with your child. If you are not honest, then what are they going to know? What are they going to learn? Case in point, if you don't know something, say, I don't know. Mom, when am I going to be able to play with my friends again? I don't know. Mom, what's going on? Or Dad, what's going on? If you don't know, say you don't know. And then you can create a fun activity by figuring it out together. Let's research that. Let's research what's going on. But it all starts with the parent has to shift their mindset. You can't operate in doom and gloom all the time.
Right. It's, you know, I talk a little bit about when you change your perspective of how you see things. You know, they like to say these many people died, but they don't say these many people are living.
Right. And I will share this with you. You know, we live in an interesting county. And so because the media has said these many Black women are dying, it's interesting when I go to the grocery store and I'm all masked up and gloved up and they're not, and they're just like, oh my gosh, there's a Black person. Oh my gosh. So the media is creating such a frenzy that if you don't shift your mindset, you're going to get caught up in what the media has created, not the person, but the media. So you have to make that shift.
Right. And you know what? You mentioned something, and I know this is kind of getting off the topic a little bit, but what are you saying to your brown boys concerning what's happening in our society right now? To me, it seems like there is an uptick all of a sudden in murdering our brown boys all over again. What do you tell your boys?
Well, you know, I have the 21-year-old, and he want to wear a mask at first, and I'll tell the short version of this story because I believe some mother is going to be able to relate to this. That mothers are married, whether the dad is there or not, there is a level of cohesiveness and a level of concern that every mother of a brown boy has when he's out of the door. I don't care your demographics. I don't care what's going on. And so now that we're in this, the oxymoron is I was fussing about him not wearing a mask. And then he showed up with a mask on. He had on all black, looked very handsome to me, but could have been intimidated to cops. And so what I told him is, number one, Tyler, don't wear your mask in the car. Don't wear your mask in the car. Number two, don't wear your mask in the car. Number two, if you get out, don't put on a hood.
Right. Wow.
He can't the day with a hood on because they don't put on a hood. You look handsome. You're great. Y'all wear hoods in 99-degree weather. You can't do that. Number three, you're going to have to stay in as much as possible.
Wow.
You're just gonna have to stay in as much as possible.
Wow.
Because my son has a hair. Like he doesn't have to be this let me cut my hair so they can approve me. You can see that by Ahmad's situation. I think that's how you say his name. No disrespect to him, but I was grieved. I'm grieved by it because when all of this happened, I spent time crying for brown boys because what about their jobs?
Yes.
What about people laying them off? What about, because my son had just started another job a few weeks before this happened and he got laid off.
Wow.
And so the conversation with brown boys is totally different than our counterparts because we've got to worry about, wait a second, they're trigger happy again and they're getting away with it. Right.
You know, and go ahead.
It's a double-edged sword because do I say you can't go outside anymore? Do I say, you can't, like my youngest son, most of his friends are Caucasian. Do I say, we got to be careful when we go around them again? Do I say that? No, I shouldn't have to tell him that. So I've talked to some of the moms. And so I'm willing to have the conversation. So you're going to have the conversation with them, with whoever they're hanging around. You just got to have the open dialogue of this is what's happening now. Show them the videos. Let them see what's going on. And then as a mother, you have got to get on your You have got to stand between the porch and the altar for your little brown boy. You have no choice. You've got to turn your plate.
You are freezing up a little bit. So you're freezing. You're freezing a little bit. Can you go back to when you were talking about you got to, I think, turn your plate down, I think is what you said?
I said, you've got to turn your plates over. You've got to fast and pray because this is a spiritual battle that we're fighting. Anytime you can watch a president say some of the things we've watched our president say and his counterparts say, what? He didn't mean to drink it totally. You've got to use your wisdom and your common sense and your knowledge. This is your boy. These are your sons. These are our sons. We owe it to our sons to say, God, I trust you. You've been paying your tithes. You've gone to every conference before this. You've been to church every Sunday. Now you need to get to know the God that will save your son's life, just like he did with Daniel when he was in the lion den. And he made the lion a vegetarian. You're going to have to, God, make my children invisible to the police. I pray that prayer.
Wow.
My son, my oldest son hasn't done everything right. God, make him invisible to the police. Lord God, I pray that he has favor with coaches. I pray, Father God, that COVID doesn't get him, Lord God. I pray, Father God, that wherever he goes, there is favor over him. So we're going to have to speak life over our children. Until we march, until we rally, until the laws change, they can say, well, you got to do more than pray. I'm going to pray. Because that's all I have in my hand. What do you have in your hand to help your son now?
Yes. So I was reading a couple of things. One, the same thing you said about your son with the hoodie and the mask. I was reading something. Some official said that there is a concern because when people see that on brown boys, they're going to think one thing, and when they see that on other boys, they think another thing. So it's almost like a double-edged sword as it relates to the brown boys. And it's almost like you got to teach them you got to teach them a double message. Put it on to protect yourself, but then take it off to protect yourself, because we don't want them to think that you're coming in to rob them. We don't want you to think that they're coming in to do them harm or any of that. I think it's absolutely crazy how we have to doubly protect ourselves and then be so I don't know, aware of everything that's going around us, and then being concerned about, are you being seen as a threat? And you could be minding your own business and you could be seen as a threat. And it's only because what's been placed in the media.
In the media.
It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Go ahead.
It's very vital that we talk to our brown boys is because I've talked to some wealthy Republicans. I talked to a lot of people.
Right.
And they really believe what the government is saying. They really believe everything that they're hearing. You know, I've had to inform a few of them of, no, that's not how that goes. This is what's really going on because we see it. Something as small as, no, they have been turning people away from the hospital for tests. So my point is, they believe what the media is saying. You know, it's like the situation in Brunswick. They believed them until the records showed that it wasn't right. That what they said was not right. So their word is belief. I told my son, whenever you get pulled over, start recording.
Right. Absolutely.
Start recording.
Absolutely.
Call your mom. Start recording. When they follow you, call me. And that's and through the years, I have built relationship with different because I do prison ministry with different county officials or officers in different counties because I have 2 brown boys.
Right.
You know, I've gone through the drastic measures because I don't have a choice.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you talk about your brown boys and you talk about talk a little bit about when you in your book, when you're talking about parenting ain't for punks and your brown boys were when they don't follow curfew or when they don't do exactly what you tell them to do, even in this climate, how do you manage that?
You know, that's a loaded question because what I found is parents have forgotten about the stuff in the book. Like they're still going through puberty. They're still, the amygdala part of their brain is the only thing they're operating with. Their frontal lobe of reasoning has not developed yet. We've forgotten the normal things that happen and we're expecting those things to go away and our children to adhere to, oh my gosh, COVID is here, COVID is here. A lot of young adults and children, they don't understand the massive intensity of this disease, of this pandemic. And so the parents do that and talk them through it. And what you're going to have to do is remember, number one, their brain is not totally developed. So it's your job to do intentional teaching. You've got to be intentional in your teaching. You can't back off because there is a disease. You've got to be intentional. And so as you teach them, and you teach them to be accountable for their actions, then you have to go and coach them on how to be accountable. So you teach them, these are the rules, this is what you have to do, and then you coach them along the way. Remember, your curfew is this. Remember, you have to do this. We have to remind them, and I think it's interesting because we all have coaches, right? We all have accountability partners, but we expect our children to automatically do what we taught them to do. We have to teach them what's right, hold them accountable, and then coach them through that accountability.
So how do you explain this to did you say your 12-year-old? How do you explain the disease to your 11-year-old? Uh-oh, you froze again.
He smart, and so he can you hear me now?
I certainly can.
I can hear you. Okay. So he's a pretty intelligent kid. So along the way, because I have conversations with him, I never hid anything from him. And his school they started talking about it before. So he's been very well versed on what's going on, what has happened. I never lied to him. If I didn't know, I said, son, I don't know. If I didn't understand something, I say, son, let's look it up. We don't watch the news together because that's not his teacher. I am his teacher. And so I have had to, and parents, you have to take ownership going on what's coming in their ear gates and their eye gates. And if you don't do that, then they'll listen to, oh, it's okay, go out and have fun. Oh, well, it's okay. No, because I can show you a video of what happened in New York. And so because I've been intentional about involving him in the negative positive, so to speak. So he doesn't get to hear the doom and gloom, but he does know that there is something going on, that it's getting worse, that they've extended the deadline, that you don't have to go to school this week. And so I've told the truth along the way in a language that he can speak it. And that's what we have to do.
So what do you tell parents that feel like they're inadequate? Not only are they inadequate as it relates to teaching, but they're inadequate as it relates to communicating with their child or their children about what's going on?
Well, number one, first of all, you got to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. You know, I'm really big on breathing. Number two, because we're such a Google society, that there are all sorts of information on how to communicate. It's in my book. They can buy my book. It teaches you how to communicate with your child. But you have got to create avenues and ways to communicate with them. You can Google how to communicate with a 2-year-old. If your child is even 20, you can say how to communicate with a 10-year-old. And CDC is a very good website for that. Their stuff is very cut and dry. You got a couple of the gurus, T. Barry Brazelton, his stuff is pretty good. And you search for that. And I say you level down. So if your child is 11 or 12, you say, okay, let me go to 9 or 10. So that you can understand it and you can explain it in his terms. And you look for examples.
Right.
But you've got to do if you're not going to put them in an online mentoring program or have a mentor to talk to them, you have got to research the internet and find some information so that you can learn how to communicate. And then you got to forgive yourself. Hey, we're not school teachers.
Right.
You got to know. You've got to, if you can forgive yourself from all the years of parenting guilt, because all Corbett did was exemplify the mommy or daddy guilt you already have. So if you can forgive yourself from all the parenting guilt and really use Corbett as an excuse, then you can move forward because you know I'm not perfect. I'm going to get it wrong. My child may miss some assignments and all is well because I am not a teacher.
That is absolutely right. And as I said, I think in one of the posts before, if you don't do spelling today, it's okay. You can do it tomorrow. If you don't do science today, it's okay. You can catch that up tomorrow. It's more important that your children remain emotionally healthy. You can catch up on all of that other stuff. One thing you said that was really important is you have to be mindful of what's going in your child's ear gate and eye gate. That's your responsibility. And I tell people all the time, don't stay glued to the TV. Baby, find something else to do. Engage in some other activity. This, to me, is a great time to get to know your kids better. Yes. As you said earlier, you were ripping and running before this was happening. You got soccer, you got piano, you got choir rehearsal, you got church, you got all of that stuff going on. And now we're at home together. What a great time to create activities for you all to do. What a great time to learn your kids and allow your kids to learn you.
Yes.
I like the fact that you say that you are a transparent parent. I think that is so commendable, because when I was growing up, parenting was not like that. You know, we never knew that our mama had an abortion. We didn't know that. We never knew that our mama or our daddy was an alcoholic, because that stuff wasn't talked about. They hid all of that stuff from us. But I think it's so commendable that you are willing to actually talk to your kids and be honest with your kids and tell them the truth. Go ahead.
I think if parents will create a safe environment for their children, where they can ask them questions, where they can ask them anything. And it's not that, why are you asking me? If you can create a safe environment, you can know everything your child has going on. That's how I know about my 21-year-old. Some of the stuff I know, Sonya, I just didn't have to know. But because early on I created this environment of you can talk to mom about anything. And you need to do that because you need to know what's responsibility. You need to know. You can't hop under a rock, because if you don't teach them, life will.
Right.
Somebody else will teach them.
Absolutely. You are so, and peer pressure, gangs and groups and people that don't have their best interests at heart will begin to infiltrate their mind, will begin to say, no, your mom is not right. This is really what's right over here. And then once they're over there, it's going to be, it will take God and the Holy Ghost to try to get them back on the right side. So it's so important that you start early. You don't wait. And even I was talking to somebody who had a daughter and said, I don't think I need to talk to her about what's going on because, I don't even think she's even paying attention. But when she actually went to talk to the daughter, the daughter was paying attention and the daughter was very concerned. The daughter even started crying because she was so concerned. It's never too early to talk to your kids about what's actually going on. They know that this is not the norm. They know that they're not staying home every day and it's not summer for no reason. What's really going on?
It's interesting that I think parents forget that your child comes in this world with two sets of genes, your genes and the other partner's genes. And what you have to remember is whatever, however you processed or the dad or the mom processed stuff growing up, however they did, if you look down your lineage and your child's lineage, you can pretty much see what's going on and how they think. But it's going to take you putting your phone down and paying attention. And so you have to be conscious parenting. You're going to miss it. Even the most attentive parent misses it. So you're going to miss some things. You're going to get it wrong. They may grow up and need a counselor because you didn't give them a lollipop in the store at 5. But what you have to understand is if you pay attention, there are some things that you can come for in the spirit realm and pray about. And eventually God will show you. I'm a living witness. God will show you this is what you stop by praying that, or this is how your child thinks. Ask your child, what's your favorite song? Listen to their music to see where their mind is. You got to be attentive. You don't have to do it 24 hours a day. You don't have to bombard them. Once a day, set a schedule and find out what's going on inside of their head. But you got to talk to them.
Right. Absolutely. And that's it. Talking is key. Communication is so important. There are sometimes, and then even watch what they look at on TV, or watch some people like to draw. Ask them to see their drawings or whatever their outlet is. Be engaged in what they're doing so that you can have a handle on what's going on with them. So let me ask you this question. So if we don't go back to the way things were back at school, how do you suppose the parent should navigate this new place that we are?
In order to navigate this new place, honestly, there's going to have to be a mindset shift. Because if the parent can't grasp that it's changed, how can we expect a child to grasp that things will not be the same? They used to say it takes 21 days to change a habit. Now they're saying 66. You're going to have to be intentional about your teaching, intentional about parenting, and then about how you do things. Whether it's from 5 to 6, we do this. From 6 to 7, we do this. You're going to have to be intentional and structured because we don't know when they're going back to school. What I do know is that a lot of summer camps have been canceled. And so now the parents are going to have to figure out what to do. And you can't do that sometimes you do it on their own. So they're going to have to find a support system, a support team, somebody like a Tavis Taylor talks who can help navigate them through where they are, because things will never be the same.
Talk a little bit about changing the perspective of how they see this. Talk a little bit about changing the perspective of how they see their present situation.
Well, it depends on how they see it. If they see it doom and gloom, then they're going to have to say, but I have lights, but I have water, but I'm alive. Like today, breath is valuable. I am alive. My children are safe. My children are here. I would challenge any parent for 7 days straight to write out 3 gratitudes in the morning. They do 3 and their child do 3. And then the evening, they do 3 and the child do 3, because once you do, multimillionaires, Oprah, Steve Jobs, and all of them talk about being grateful and waking up and realizing what you have to be grateful for. And anytime you operate out of gratitude, then that's going to help shift your perspective. It's an exercise. It takes work. It's not going to happen just because you say, okay, I'm going to think differently. You have to work at it yourself.
Yes, that is amazing. Amazing. You, in the morning when you get up, you name 3 things that you're grateful for, not just you, but your children. And then in the evening, before you go to bed, you name 3 things that you're grateful for and allow your child to do the same. That is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would ask our audience, if you have any questions, to go ahead and put them on the screen, because I think we're coming down to the end. If you have any insight or anything that you would like to share, you can go ahead and do that at this time while we continue the conversation. And I will ask Ms. Taylor your question or put your comment out. So anyway, so how has things been going with you as you navigate this with your son? Has he had any down times or times of wondering what's going to happen, or has he been focused the entire time? How's his schoolwork been?
Well, my son is in a private school.
Okay.
And so their stuff has been so structured. He wakes up every morning to good morning. And so I haven't had to, guide him as much, because his stuff is almost like he's in the classroom. So that's been a blessing for me, because that gives me some downtime. And I'll tell you why. I'm a very active parent, and he's so used to being busy. So if he's not doing schoolwork, it's okay, let's play soccer. So we're playing indoor soccer. Okay, let's write. So we do so much together that I'm like, okay, son, but mom has to work. So I had to set a schedule of this is my work time and this is our time. And I have to be intentional about that. And so he's a couple of him and his friends, they have allocated time that they can play their game together. They've done Zooms together. The whole class have done Zooms. So that's a way that they can see their friends. He misses his friends. He misses school.
Yes.
He misses, he's such a child. So he misses playing. He loves to play. So he misses, playing a lot. So he's having to adjust. Very positive kid. So, but he is having to adjust.
I like that thing of scheduling. It's if you can at all possible keep your kids on a schedule. It doesn't have to be the exact schedule that was at school. It doesn't have to be 8 hours of school, but whatever your schedule is, if you can keep your kid on that, that will help them so much. I think sometimes parents don't realize how much schedules help kids and how much routines really help kids to keep them focused, to keep them knowing that we're going to do this, mom is going to be here, this is going to happen. That's why even in schools, things are regimented. There is a reason for doing that. And I think sometimes our parents forget that, they're at home, we can do whatever, whenever, but it hinders their productivity when we allow them to do everything all willy-nilly. Let me see, any questions, anything you want to say? Hello, Kim. Hey, Tanya.
We have summer coming up. So some parents are going to have to readjust. I got some things that I'm going to put out, but parents are going to have to readjust to school is going to be over. And so I'm used to this structured by, I think all of his stuff has to be in, he has to log on by 9 and done by 12 or 1. And so now we're going to have to restructure and come up with work for him to do. I am during the summer months so that he's not on the game all day, or he's not, just willy-nilly all day. And so parents are going to have to think about what they're going to do this summer, because there are no summer camps. Some of them may open up, but for the most part, the ones that we typically go to, they've been canceled. And so we're going to have to readjust to that and come up with some organized, I'll probably keep them on the same school schedule somewhat. But we're going to have to figure that out as parents. Some parents are going back to work. Some parents are not going back to work. Right. So we've got to think about summer.
Would you give us your handles for how to reach you, how to get in touch with you, your social media addresses and all of that?
Sure. Facebook is, I think, Tavis Taylor.
Okay.
Instagram, Tavis Taylor Talks. My website, tavistaylor.com. And I also have my parenting website, perspectiveparenting.com. And they can go on either of my websites and reach out to me there.
Okay. All right. And you said that you're going to have some additional things for activities for the summer that you're going to put out. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm working on some things now. Hopefully by the end of next week, they'll be out and they'll be able to download those. Some of them will come with the price, but they'll be able to, because what we've got to do is keep their minds flowing, and we've got to make sure that we're also implementing those life skills in there: self-awareness, self-management, anger management. We've got to make sure that we're implementing those in their day-to-day activity so that they don't lose it.
Right, absolutely, because they do lose some stuff over the summer.
Yes.
Some of the stuff that they've been taught. And again, I want to put your book up.
Yes.
I would highly recommend this book, highly. There are places in here that you can write down your thoughts. There are questions that are asked. So I think it's a really, really good book. And tell us where we can get your materials.
It's on Amazon.com.
Okay. All right. And we're putting up your email address, your Facebook address, and your all of the information about your webpage. So all of that will be on the Zoom page. So I think that you have any final thoughts or anything you want to share before we exit?
The only thing I will tell parents is give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Give yourself a break and just breathe. You're going to get it wrong. Yeah. Your children are going to frustrate you. Forgive yourself for yelling. You're going to yell at some point. You've got to stop being so hard on yourself. Yeah. You didn't sign up for this part of it.
And as you said, you're not the teacher. You didn't go to school for teaching. You may have gone to school, but it's not for this.
Yes. Please give yourself, if there's nothing that they take away, give yourself a break, because we all have gotten something wrong during this pandemic concerning our children.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it has been such an honor to have you on tonight. Thank you so much for sharing. I am just honored. And I hope that this will not be the last time that we get together. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.